Not sure if y'all saw this. It's not been a super busy week on the field in Athens, but Brock Bowers, a Napa, California native, was named SEC Freshman of the Year. I'm gonna tell you what, he totally deserved it too. That guy was unbelievable the entire season. And I want to take you back to just before the Georgia Clemson game and talking with one person in particular about Darnell Washington being hurt. Um, this person I was talking to gets to see practice quite often and said, "Yeah, I mean, it's going to hurt you don't have Darnell, but um, Brock Bowers is legit. He's just not 6'8". Yeah, and I mean, legit is probably not It's hard to express some of these things. I mean, there were times when Brock Bowers was unstoppable in SEC play. The game against Clemson, right off the bat, they went straight to him from JT to Brock Bowers. It was quick. They were moving the ball effectively. And then you just fast forward to it 13 games later in the SEC championship game against Alabama, and Brock Bowers was Georgia's best weapon, uh, getting hit early and often, scoring some. The one touchdown was I mean, animal like. It was an amazing run. Just dropping what could have been a touchdown going into the fourth quarter, I think it was. That was a ball he had and got knocked out. I think got knocked out. I'm trying to remember. I'm getting a couple of plays mixed up, but this guy is he has been an unstoppable force. Looking like he will be a first round draft pick. I mean, I don't normally just say that about people, but Brock Bowers has been exceptional this year, and I don't know how he doesn't continue to be a problem in terms of matchups for folks as time goes on. I mean, he he could not. There were times when he could not be stopped in this season. I mean, the long throw. I think it was in the Carolina game. Um, you know the just it was consistent. Let me read you this. Posted the fourth 100-yard receiving game of his first season after a career high 10 balls and 139 yards and a score against Alabama. He owns a single season Georgia record for touchdowns for a tight end with 11. His 11 scoring catches also ties receptions for anyone in a season, which was Terrence in 2002. Brock Bowers owns a single season receiving yards for a tight end, 791 on 47 catches, just too shy of tying the school's single season record for tight end catches. Let me stop right there. It's not like Georgia's had bad tight ends. I mean, you want to start really probably Shannon Mitchell, Larry Brown, Randy McMichael, Ben Watson, Leonard Pope, uh, up till today. I mean, they have had some tight ends at Georgia. Now they've not thrown as much back in the day, but those guys all played in the NFL. They were all legit, players. Isaac Nada was a really good tight end at Georgia. Anyway, this marks the seventh time uh, the SEC has awarded Freshman of the Year to a Georgia player. The last one was Jake Fromm in 2017. I think he was better than Jake Fromm was in 17 because there were times when Jake Fromm was not hardly asked to do anything besides hand the ball off. And this guy is out here running through people. And in the grand scheme of things, I was walking with David Pollock before the Bama game, the day before the Alabama game, and he was talking to a producer on the phone and wanting to spotlight just how important Brock Bowers was and is to Georgia's team. The combination of Brock, Darnell, and John Fitzpatrick, they are extremely difficult as a trio to deal with. And, you know, they're different tight ends, but Bowers is the most explosive of the trio. Darnell, obviously, the largest, although John Fitzpatrick's not a small person. He's just not as big as Darnell. And they all play and they all have a role and they are all important to what Georgia has been this season and what they're going to do moving forward. Brock Bowers is a nightmare to match up with. If you so Alabama was in nickel coverage, if I'm not mistaken, and they stayed in that because they were worried half to death about Bowers, and that allowed them to run the ball effectively at the start of game. I'm sure that they adjusted, but it's if you can do both, um, if you what I mean to say is if you can run it all, Brock Bowers is a real problem for you. Any tight end is, and for all of the years of complaining about hitting the tight end, I mean Georgia has made uh, a point of doing it this season. And Todd, you know Todd Hartley got these guys to Georgia. I can't say with John Fitzpatrick, probably though. Had well, I can't recall if John was recruited by Todd or not, but everybody since has been Todd Hartley, and now you got Oscar Delp coming in, and yet another committed, very good player in the 23 class, Pierce Sperling. So you've got some hellified players. It's just hard to believe they can be better than these guys right now. I mean, John Fitzpatrick doesn't have to leave Georgia. He could stick around for another year. And the other thing is, these guys are playing on special teams too. Tight ends are really really important. Just period. They play a lot of positions in special teams, and obviously they are a spot that's sort of like the rook in chess. They're not conventional, and man, it's hard not to compare him to some of the really gifted tight ends in the NFL right now. He's not big like Gronkowski is. Like Gronkowski is huge. That's much more like Darnell. But he is as troublesome a player to deal with lining up defensively as probably there is in this league. And that's saying something because Alabama's got some really good wide receivers, as we saw a week ago on Saturday. But I just SEC Freshman of the Year, you're up there with people like Jake Fromm, Herschel Walker. I mean, there have been some really good Freshman of the Years through the years at Georgia. And Brock Bowers, I don't think, speaking of Herschel, I don't think it's out of the question that the guy wins the Heisman. I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that he wins the Heisman in the near future because he's only going to be there at Georgia for 2 more years. I mean, I can't imagine him sticking around for 4 years. But he is so difficult to deal with that um, he is really something Georgia's going to need to take advantage of against the Michigan defense that is very, not just good but great. And he will be someone that you're going to have to deal with over the top with deep balls, converting third downs, stuff like that. Brock Bowers is a star. We didn't totally know that coming in. We thought he was really good actually, but we didn't know he would be this good. SEC Freshman of the Year good? I don't know. Take advantage of the $2 deal down below. We'll see you over on the website.